Well, hey there. Happy Friday. It's Matt, and this is a review of sorts. I think of it more as a book report of based on a true story by Norm MacDonald. I picked this book up at Cole's bookstore at the Peter Pond Mall, downtown Port McMurray. It was right after I got back from a pretty, what, eventful, let's put it that way, trip to Kamloops, BC. Not too far after I'd been laid off from my job. And I honestly thought, as I was perusing the shelves, that this would help alleviate some of my despondency, I suppose, over my overall situation. I promptly picked it up, read the introduction, part of the first chapter, and put it down. I was laughing my butt off entirely, but wow, it really cuts close to the bone in terms of Norm's approach to his subject matter, which is ostensibly himself, but then even in terms of relatability, which I suppose is a function of any kind of powerful art where somebody you don't know can express something that resonates for you on a personal level. It's pretty cool stuff. I had to put it down for a few months because every time I picked it up, became somewhat unsettled by Norm's approach. And again, that's awesome. It's straight up fantastic, is what he does, because I was expecting something of a straight memoir when I picked it up, even though it clearly says on the cover, not a memoir. It turns very, very quickly into a comic novel full of events, full of, well, it's got a lot of gambling in it. And that tracks because Norm apparently in his real life went bankrupt at least a couple of times due to a problematic gambling habit online and in the casinos. I read in the Wikipedia for Norm that he lost something like $400,000 at one time in a casino. And to me, that's just mind blowing stuff, astronomical amounts of money. He's also really spent a lot of time talking about death. Death is omnipresent throughout the book. It even starts out on a death like note, as a matter of fact. The very introduction. Uh, I guess it's probably worth pointing out that at the time that this book was written, it would have been a year or two, or certainly within 5 years of a cancer diagnosis, which over the 8 years that followed would never seriously go into remission, and in fact ended up leading to his ultimate passing away in September of 2021. Um, I guess coupled with the fact that, as it turns out, as a younger man, before his, I guess, ascendancy to comedy superstardom, he experienced stomach cancer. There's some mention of that in the Wikipedia with some corresponding media links. And again, this is somebody who has achieved huge amounts of success on the virtue of an absolutely singular comic talent. And you can't help but think that a lot of that comes from having faced down mortality, serious, serious illness at an early age, and then having it recur, in a sense, decades later. And it really causes anybody who's reading it to accept the absurdity of the narrative, the absolutely bonkers road trip, which it's really no spoilers, but it's just metafictional for sure, literary for sure, and it has the characteristic I find of like a tall tale, wherein the events are largely, if not entirely, fictional, but based on what we know of Norm and his projects and his influences over the years, it absolutely rings truthful all the way through on a personal level. So those are things which draw me in and made me compelled to just yesterday finally pick it up and read almost all of it. I saved the last chapter or two for this morning, but any book that can cause me to want to read the whole thing in more or less a single setting, interrupted with meals or the like, a single day to read a book, that's really unusual for me. I haven't done that in forever. And that in itself was fun. That in itself was just kind of a privilege. I'm on my way out of Fort McMurray. I have less than a week here and even fewer days than that left in this very apartment. And we still have a few days left of summer. It's still the summer until September 22nd. So this is, I guess, a late summer, end of summer kind of book report. I may try and squeeze in another book or two while the summer is still with us. But in any case, I really strongly recommend Norm MacDonald, based on a true story. You can probably find it at your local chapters, Indigo, or wherever fine paperbacks are sold. Appreciate y'all for being here. Take care. Bye for now.